Mountainsides are still covered in snow, but down here, on the fields, spring has already come, while on the sides of the Sarykum sand dune, it's hot summer. Dimensions about 3 kilometers long and about 2 kilometers wide. Scientists argue that this sand dune is around 100,000 years old. Over this time, a lot of legends have appeared. I guess in any village they will tell you such legends to you all night long. Yet some scientific versions have also appeared. I hope we'll manage to discuss them by the end of our program. Indeed, it's absolutely not clear how among the Green Mountains a giant sand dune made of fine golden sand, like in an exclusive beach, turned up. On this sand, you will see all flora and fauna that inhabits East Asia, across the Caspian Sea. Is it true that some powerful genie took the sand dune together with its inhabitants in his palm and carefully brought it here, to the roof of Nerat II Bridge? And finally, that's the only place in Russia where a blunt-nosed viper can be found. Yet finding it is not going to be easy. Even if you are attentive enough, it's hard to see any living creature in these sands. Everyone has heard of the famous deserts of Sarykum and Kizilkum. Sarykum has black sands. Kizilkum differs in red sands. And here is Sarykum, the Sarykum sand dune, a giant single golden sand dune lying at the foot of the Dagestan mountains. By the way, it is the second in the world in terms of size. The highest point is 250 meters above sea level. Imagine, it's half of the Ostankino TV tower. Welcome us, Golden Sarykum. The fame of a wonderful gigantic sand dune blazed widely across the whole East. A lot of people came to see and wonder. Men of science, peregrine ambassadors, poets, and even monarchs. Yet people were surely not able to see how the dune was formed. Our prehistoric forefathers may have witnessed it. On the place where I'm now standing, 100,000 years ago, there were swashing waves. Then the Caspian Sea retreated, and the underwater sand belt turned into a gigantic sand dune. Our scientific expert, Oleg Shumakov, used to come here to Sarykum, but it was long ago. Much sand has flown since then. The outlines of the famous dune have changed, yet it's still here, on the same place by the railway. So, have flora and fauna somehow changed during these 25 years that you haven't been here? I don't think so. So, this Sarykum sand dune is an independent ecosystem with its own community. It's one of a kind, as this is the place where 3 faunas, and in fact 3 floras meet: Caucasian, Transcaucasian, and Turkestani. Here we see animals and plants from over there. For some of them, it's the only place these species are found in Russia. A cat snake, for example, a blunt-nosed viper. In fact, we won't see a blunt-nosed viper here in the sands. We'll find it at the foot of the dune. Aha! As it keeps closer to the bush, closer to the water. Here in the sand, we'll see various unusual lizards. Maybe small boas, I don't know if we're lucky enough. Oleg, here on the sand, we'll see the same thing which happens everywhere we go, be it jungle or forests or steppes. There's nothing here, bare as a bone. Not a living creature around, but the sands are dappled with some trails. Thus, there is some life here. Well, life is literally humming here. It's quite possible that right now in this hillock, there are some lizards which have dug into the sand. The trail, there is a trail here. Yes, there's a trail there. Life is everywhere around. One just needs to keep quiet. Be patient and wait and be on the watch. In the morning, we set off to get to the top of the dune. The higher we were, the more we wondered. A business card of the Sarykum sands is this funny lizard, a toad-headed agama. They are numerous here. We'll find them easily and watch. The second task is going to be more difficult. We desperately want to find a blunt-nosed viper. A blunt-nosed viper is the biggest and most venomous snake in our country, by the way. The most reticent and cautious. Well, let's hope we are lucky enough. We have had an impression that didn't frighten. Well, it's reserved after all. Toad-headed agamas even like to strike a pose in front of the camera. Toad-headed agamas are very nosy, rather daring lizards. Well, if something happens, they just dig into the sand. But unfortunately, we didn't manage to make them strike a threat posture. When they curl their tail into a spiral and expand their ears like the hood. Expand your ears like this. Oh. Well, expand your ears. Next to the quite big toad-headed agamas, several species of race runners live. Race runners is the official name of a genus in the lizard family. They live in deserts and semi-deserts only, and sometimes they look so much alike that only an experienced herpetologist can define its genus. In the mating season, males pattern with multicolored spots become especially bright. Well, then these blue eyes will become a lot paler. Race runners are very nimble creatures, and they are not so ingenious as toad-headed agamas. Here, it feels too hot. And over there, the sand is wet and cool. There, lizards hide in their holes. Hold it. That's it. Show yourself. Look, what a beauty. It is perfectly adapted to the life in quicksand. It has scales on its hind feet, which resemble fringes that allow it to run and not sink in the fine sand. Its skin is scored, which helps it easily dig into the sand, leaving on the surface only eyes and upper jaw, which is perfect for a hunter. Wait! So that's why hydrophilous plants that don't tolerate drought grow here, in a waterless desert. Well, of course, the sand beneath is always wet. Due to the temperature gradient, the water actively condensates and the upper sand layer doesn't let it evaporate. Even bulrush and sedge can survive here. They won't die. So, the sand toad-headed agamas helped us puzzle out one of the mysteries of the Sarykum sand dune. And as a reward for our ingenuity, a long-expected living gift was given to us. Well, Sasha, this is our blunt-nosed viper. Oh, it's cute. Is it a he or a she? This is a male. Nice, grown up, big. He's molting. He's not completely molted, yes. They've recently woken after the winter dormancy. I think this is his first molting. Oleg, this is a blunt-nosed viper. He'll be almost violet after molting. A very beautiful violet-brown color. Now it's trying to bite the hook. That's how it bites. It bites this way. Perhaps a blunt-nosed viper has the most sinister face, frightful fangs, narrow pupils, and a remarkably beautiful scale pattern. Just look closer, like a fairy tale dragon. However, a blunt-nosed viper is quite peaceful. It never attacks you first, so you have to try hard to get bitten by it. There are quite a few bites. The snake is really cautious, big. It hides well, gets away fast, and warns when someone is approaching. Well, we've shown you the main object of our search. Now, let's continue puzzling out the mysteries of the Sarykum sand dune. We couldn't stop thinking about where this finest golden sand has come from. Maybe it remained on the bottom of the retreating sea. But why then is there only one sand dune? Why didn't a whole desert form here? There is another scientific theory of the Sarykum sand dune's origin: Aeolian. But, my friends, I think that at least two forces of nature took part in this creative process: aqueous and aerial. Because the rain patiently eroded the sandstone, of which the mountains are made. And then the wind carefully carried the grains of sand towards the sand dune. The mountains, as it turns out, are made of sandstone, so our guess was confirmed. So here it is, the factory for producing the finest sand. Now it is clear why it's so fine and soft. Big grains don't fly so far and fall on the ground much earlier. We've got another living prize for puzzling out another mystery. Come on, a little bit more, come on. Step by step, come on. I have a feeling it's sort of swelling, stopping at the walls. No, fellow. Where do you want to get so much strength in such a little body? Come on. Come on, come on. A leg it doesn't want. How stubborn and scored you are. Be careful, fellow. Boy, you made me work for this one. When you try to pull it out of the cleft, it swells, stops at the walls. It has a scored skin like sandpaper, so I was cautious not to hurt it. But it seems to be intact, alive. As the saying goes in such cases, during the filming, no animals were harmed. Here you are, a charming Caucasian agama. Can you see its wise look, its calm face? If we magnify it 100 times, we'll have a dreadful lizard, a dragon of the Caucasus Mountains without makeup. Having returned to the lodge, we discovered a huge sand pit on another bank of the river. It means that the sand is everywhere around. It's just that it's already overgrown with grass sod and twiggy growth. Then, why has it not happened to the Sarykum sand dune? The answer to this question we got after our meeting with Idris Idrisov, a geographer of Dagestan State Nature Reserve. It turned out that the sand dune was not always sandy. It was formed. Then it was, for a long time, for thousands of years, maybe tens of thousands of years, in a stable condition. There were no open sands here. It was entirely covered with vegetation and topsoil. It was in this stable condition for a long time. The radionuclide analysis of buried soils shows that they began disintegrating about 2,000 years ago. In other words, apparently humans were directly involved. Well, took part in the destruction of the vegetation and topsoil. The goats and sheep pasture, yes? Well, probably animal husbandry, because at that time, probably the sand pits were little used, but animal husbandry at that time was considered to be highly intensive. Here we can see the evidence of a large population that occupied neighboring territories. So, wait a minute, Idris. In other words, it appears that throughout all this historic time of the existence of the Sarykum sand dune, it looked different. It was one day green and another day sandy. Yes, additionally, these landforms also changed. What a surprise! It turns out that not only forces of nature, but also humans took part in the formation of the sand dune. Idris also explained why the sand dune doesn't run away but stand still. The winds simply blow from two sides, in different directions, but always along the sand dune. We're now done with these mysteries: how the sand dune was formed, where the sand came from, why the sand dune doesn't run away but stand still. I hate to say that, but we're not going to tell you the legends and the myths about the mighty genies and the tireless strongmen who piled up the Sarykum. In the 19th century, the great French novelist Alexandre Dumas, Pierre, traveled in these parts and even wrote The Caucasus from Prometheus to Shamil. Well, he painted a rosy picture, of course, in a way. But as Dumas used to say, history is just a nail on which I hang my picture. I write you in response because I have an idle moment and I'm relaxing in the sunshine, like our cat Vaska on a bench. We're sitting now on the sand by the very blue sea, not disturbed by anything. The sun is so bright here that it makes you see white, and the sands are yellow like the eyes of our cat Mirka. They are called Sarykum. That's not a word from our language. We're puzzled out all their wise mysteries, caught the snake, so let's hurry home. Wait for us soon.